So here we are, we have 6 orders with a variety of different shipping methods. We've got a couple which have been set up as service groups, and so for this particular order, for instance, it's asking Metapack to decide on the most appropriate way to send, but we want it sent as raw mail. But we also have a couple of orders where the shipping has been explicitly set. So in the case of these 2 orders here, so the administrator decided, no, I've made a decision on which particular shipping method is to be used. The next stage now is to give you a quick demonstration as to how the information actually flows to and from the Metapack system. So I've got both windows open, both my Metapack account here and my Brightpearl account. The first process is to go through and actually go through the picking, packing process within Brightpearl. Now there are a couple of different ways that people do this. It can either be done individually on a case-by-case basis, or it can be batch done. So initially I'm going to show you doing it on a sort of single basis. So this is the typical goods out note screen, and as you can see I've got 4 main buttons at the top here. So the first process would be the print, then I would physically pick the goods, pack them, and then ship them. So I'm going to go ahead now and print. Now, I don't have a printer connected to this computer, but it's not relevant because all I'm interested in doing is effectively this, which is, do you want to mark the goods out note as printed? Yes, I do. And as you'll see here now, the print has been confirmed. Effectively, if I was in a warehouse, that means that this particular goods out note, this packing note, will have been printed on the printer, ready to be included with the parcel. From our integration point of view, this is key because everything, the integration recognizes when this print function has occurred. And this is where and when the information is effectively picked up from Brightpearl and transferred over to Metapack. So in our warehouse environment now, we will be looking on our shelves to go and physically pick the products in order to prepare the shipment. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that now, and a picking note will be created, and this should be updated. So that's my pick note. Again, the particular process that you may have in your business might be slightly different. More often than not, you'll be doing a batch pick before physically sort of picking and packing every individual item. This particular element is irrelevant to the integration. It doesn't matter how you pick or where you pick. It's not relevant, doesn't affect the integration in any way. So the next stage now is effectively where we are. We've got our packing note, we've got our products. We're physically putting the products in the bag itself. We need our label, our carrier label, so we can complete the pack. Moving over to the Metapack screen, I'm now going to refresh, and we should see the consignment that's been created, and we do indeed. We can see that the status has been allocated, and the chosen service is raw mail, recorded next day delivery. So if I just go back to the screen here, again we've decided that this is a service group, so it's saying, well, just choose the best raw mail options that are available that I've sort of pre-configured in Metapack. So it has gone away and done that based on the details of the parcel. Now if I click in here, you can just go through and see just the details that have been effectively passed through. So obviously it's the name and the postcode and the address of the parcel itself, the email address, the phone number, mobile number, and the contact phone. That has all been passed through. The address type here, it's not very relevant, but nevertheless we've still included it in as part of our integration. The logic behind this is that if a company name exists, then it will be allocated as a business. If not, then it's a residential. The number of parcels and the weight. So the total weight of the goods is passed through from Brightpearl as well. In addition, we have a couple of other values here, which is the consignment value and also the delivery instructions. Now, the delivery instructions is an additional option which is very useful. It's only relevant for some carriers, typically Interlink and a number of others, where you can effectively pass through customer-related delivery comments. This is linked into Brightpearl as a custom field, and I'll show you that a little bit later on. The consignment value is passed through, and it's calculated. And if I just click on the product screen here, So it's calculated because we also pass through the line items of the particular goods out note into Metapack, which is particularly useful for exporting and generating the appropriate customs documents as well. So here you can see that we've got two line items for this particular order, the quantities and the total values. Currently, the product type descriptions and the harmonization codes, there are no fields in BrightPack for these particular elements at the moment. So these need to be entered manually if it's relevant for you. In a future update, we will find a way of handling this particular requirement as well. This is only necessary for usually out of EU exports, which is effectively creating the customs documentation. So it's not something to be too concerned with. This is details of the allocated service, which is specific to Metapack. And that is quite simply it. No further details or no further actions need to be undertaken in Metapack. As you can see, I've not actually changed anything. It's all pre-allocated, it's all done and dusted. So I'm the warehouse operative. My next task will be to print that particular label so I can complete the pack stage. So I literally just click the button there and we should see a label pop up. And there we do. And there we go, we have the label. Of course, I don't have a label printer connected to my printer. If I did, then it would automatically print. So I'm going to close that down and get rid of that. And also that. So as soon as I've done that, and I need to refresh the screen here again, we'll see that this particular order now has changed its status to ready to manifest. So this indicates that the label has been printed and we're ready to go. So at this point, I'm going to return back to my Brightpearl screen. So really what we want to do is now we've got the label, we physically pack the parcel, we're ready to go. I really want the tracking reference and information back in Brightpearl so I can continue and finish my pack and ship process. So I'm just going to reload the screen here now. And there we go. We see that the tracking reference has been returned back to Brightpearl automatically and we are ready to go. So now I can pack and I can decide to send the order, an email address to the order, the order if I want to. I don't need to put anything in tracking reference number. This is actually populated, although Brightpearl doesn't show that it is. It's a little bit confusing, but it does exist there. You don't need to worry about that. And all I need to do is click pack. And that part of the process is fully complete. We have our tracking reference number. Our label's been printed. That exists on the parcel itself. And we are ready to ship. And that is the complete process. So if I just close that window now, and I return to my goods out note screen, I'm just going to reload this. And you can see that this now is decreased by 1 because effectively one of the parcels has been shipped and is ready to go. So next I'm just going to show you the batch process. This is where I would effectively, usually I would actually pick the products first. I want to create a consolidated pick list for my warehouse staff. So that's the pick list there that's been created. They then will become marked as picked. The goods are on a shelf behind me, or ready to be physically packed. The next stage is I want to print off all of the goods out notes. There we go. So that's a consolidated list of all the goods out, all the packing notes that can be printed in one go. I can close that now down. So now we can see we've got the printed, and these orders have also been packed. So now we want all of the labels. So go into our Metapack system. I'm going to reload that now. And there we go. We can see they've automatically come into the system already, and we've got obviously the one we just created and the remaining 5, which again have all been allocated to their respective service types. And all we need to do is just going to select that and then deselect that. I can go to advanced features and select print selected labels, and away we go. This will just take a couple of seconds. Again, if you have, of course, the proper CLP, the Citizen CLP printer connected to your warehouse system, then it will be done automatically and you won't get these pop-up screens, but it serves as a demonstration. So there we go, there are all of our different labels for the different carriers, including the CN22 form as well for the export to Switzerland. Okay, so I'm going to close that down now. Get rid of that. I'm just going to reload here, and you can see they've all been set to ready to manifest. Now I'm going to return back to the Brightpearl screen, and I'm going to refresh the page. And you can see instantly the tracking reference numbers are returned directly back to Brightpearl. So now I'm simply ready to go. I'm going to pack them all off in one batch pack. Again, I could send an email if I decide to all of the recipients, or an SMS, but I'm not in this particular instance. I'm going to click pack. They've all been packed, and I can complete the process by clicking ship. And there we have it. So that is the complete integration. So a seamless integration, really almost a one-click process for creating your labels within Metapack from Brightpearl. Thanks for listening.